Found it interesting that the MLB switched it all up. They also made the game way quicker somehow. The game only took like 2.5 hours, same as a football game, honestly. I enjoyed it fully as a fan. 2 single home runs back to back in the 6th inning is what won it for the Cubs. Pitchers are now like crazy enhanced. Like you want to talk about like the whole Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire era, like pitchers in baseball right now, they're throwing an average of 95 miles an hour. And like, it's insanity. And you can see it every time that you watch the game. Maybe that's why it's going quicker. So the game's going quicker. It's not an average of 3.5 to 4.5 hours. It's like 2.5 hour game now, finally. I would be upset if I was at the ballpark for a 2.5 hour game. I like the ballpark being a 5-hour game. But when I'm at home watching a playoff game, yeah, 2.5 hours sounds fucking great. 2.5 hours, game was done. They switched up the way they do playoffs now, too. No play-in game, so there's no, like, one-and-done eliminations. But the wild card round, all 4 wild card rounds, are only a series of 3. And the higher seed does all 3 games, and all 3 games are at home. So we get 3 games back-to-back-to-back at Wrigley against the Padres. And the only way for the Padres to get out of it is to dig themselves out of an away team disadvantage in a triple header. It makes baseball a little bit more exciting. And then right from there, they go right into the divisional round, which is a 5 series. Again, not a 7, a 5 series. And then AL and NL 7 series along with the World Series. It really makes sense, and it made it enjoyable to watch. I'm excited to watch tomorrow. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk, but also Chicago needs this. We need this because like Chicago's tied to politically right-wing freedom lovers and all that shit. It's like it's ingrained in us, okay? Independence is ingrained in us. We are Nick Fuentes, Kanye West. Need I say more? Jussie Smollett, if you want the other side of it. That's also Chicago. And me, this guy right here, Chicago. I'm from the Rockford area, DeKalb area, I would say is what you would. Yeah, I would say DeKalb area is probably better. And so like Northern Illinois University. And I'm literally from Genoa, Illinois. So, yeah, northern suburbs of Chicago represent once again Chicago Cubs. Go, go, go. Let's go. Let's go. Go, go, Cubs. Let's go. That's all I got to say there. But it was nice. It was nice. There wasn't a lot of woke ads. Maybe the reason there wasn't a lot of woke ads is because Paramount and this guy from Oracle is like buying all of media. I'm getting concerned now when I see that like the UFC has a deal with Paramount, which is exciting because like now we can finally bring America's sport to the prime time of America. I'm always for encouraging that. Like I think that these companies are stupid the way that they treat sports. Sports are so pay-per-viewed and cabled out. And everybody just does them illegally. And then you ban East Side and you do all this weird shit. And it's like, we don't want to be on there either. Remember like when we all torrented movies and then you found out like, oh, wow, we should just like sell them digitally online. And then we started buying them that way. Why don't you try to do that with like fucking sports finally? Instead of making us do this. It's so weird. I don't understand it. I don't know enough or have enough knowledge about sports contracting to really understand it. But it all leads back to old man probably doesn't understand what he's spending his money on. Because the amount of just sports games that have like DraftKings and FanDuel and tons of people betting large sums of money on the event and then it not being broadcast for anybody to see except for the people that are like there at the table. It's crazy. Everything should be on a fucking app. Everything should be fucking able to be accessed very easily. Honestly, everything sports-wise should just have its own YouTube channel and just run ads that way. You get a 65% cut from YouTube. I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. It doesn't make sense. But with that said, sports down the drain. Let's get into it. Let's take a look at our fucking breakdown of the night. What are the main stories? What do we got going? What do we got cooking up in this mofo called the world? The world, according to me. I kept like trying to ask for different recommendations for the titles and shit, so I kept getting all this weird stuff. There we go. Number 1. Shutdown at midnight. Well, that already happened. We're in a shutdown. Is it official? I want to make sure they didn't like snake oil us with some craziness. Just if I do shut down, did anybody stay up? Shut down. Did anybody stay up at any of these journalists? Like, is there a journalist left? The Guardian, 18 minutes ago. US Government Shutdown live. First closure since 2018. Begins after funding bill files. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, you got to be a fucking buffoon to not. Chuck Schumer doesn't even have an answer when you ask him why. He's like, it's a very clear answer from the Republicans. It's very one-sided on this thing. But I also see from Chuck Schumer's side why he has to do it. You have to do it because you're going to get canceled if you don't do it. So, like, he's like, over here being like, yeah, everything's a play. I'm glad that they did the sombrero thing. I'm glad that he fucking said he didn't know who Hakeem Jeffries was. I'm glad that they're, like, pushing back on these, saying they're going to fire people, stuff like that, because it is a game, but it's a game that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer know they have to play because when they didn't play last time, they got canceled. And if they get canceled twice as a politician, you have to live under a bridge for a year as the troll.